Hello there, people of Earth. Welcome to Front Page Fables. Today we are going some weird confessions on the internet. But before, I make animated porn and can't tell anyone. I 24 have been a sweet kid ever since I was little, but when I turned 20 my life changed. You see, I always wanted to go into a career to do with journalism, however it didn't sweeten after I got bad results in school, so I decided to spend my whole university fund on different digital careers, and eventually found my calling on animation, and started to show people my skills. It was all serious and normal until my friend asked me if I could make porn. At first I was skeptical, and didn't do. However, after doing research, I found out it was very profitable by making things such as anime and video games. At first I didn't understand the market, so most I posted on Reddit. But I met someone on Discord one day who told me how to sell it. Once that happened, my life peaked. Weirdly enough, my addiction to porn got less. But I think that was a mix of having a real relationship of my own and the huge influx of money. Once I had been working for 6 months, eventually my mom became skeptical and began questioning what I did after I bought a new car. However, I didn't have the courage and just told her I found a regular animation job and told my girlfriend the same too not long after. But once I had around 9 months, things really began to get better as I found out that rich people wanted like 30-minute long films of anime characters doing stuff, and some wanted storyline and began to give me thousands for it. At first it was only about $400 for a 30-minute long vid, but slowly people began giving more and more, and I peaked at around 4K for one vid. Alongside this, some were so rich they even gave tips, which was unbelievable to me. After about 2 years I was bringing in a solid 100K a year, and my girlfriend even got pregnant. I was the happiest I've ever been, but I feel so guilty that I've lied to everyone. Our wedding is in 2026, and I don't know whether to come clean to my mom and girlfriend or whether to keep it a secret until it becomes less profitable in the future. What would you do? On to our next one. I have a guilty hangover. I should have stuck to girl code because being honest wasn't worth it. Today at the lunch table, strip clubs came up in convo. I'm an engineer, and there's one other woman on my team, the rest are men. The apprentice was telling us how his girlfriend wasn't happy because he found it funny that his friend blasted 15K on a stripper in Prague. Other female engineer admitted to the table that she wouldn't be happy if her boyfriend went to a strip club. I kept quiet because I didn't want to contradict her when she was clearly being brave by risking criticism on this subject. Eventually, I was asked directly for my opinion on this, and I replied honestly that I'd gaff. She immediately said, "Ooh, sorry, I'm not cool like you." I've been in a relationship with a narc where strip clubs, prostitutes, and bro code was used to generate jealousy and rage in me. It was used as a weapon, and so he could say, "See, you're crazy," and it worked. I seriously thought I had borderline personality disorder. I felt like I had BPD. It's a point of pride for me that I managed to get myself out of that situation and into a place where I don't need to feel jealousy or insecurity. And I think that pride was clear in my voice when I was asked if it bothers me. She interpreted that as me not sticking by her side. And I feel awful about it because I confided in her earlier in the day about an older colleague who keeps giving me cleaning jobs when I'm an engineer. Feel like shit. Can't win. It all started with an angry emoji. I need to let this out. I met him in my work. Our interaction were simple at first. We only talked when we were working on same task and needed each other's help. Then he reacted with an angry emoji on my message. It was greeting of sort to the team, and while everyone else were giving heart emojis, he had angry one. I didn't take it seriously and jokingly responded. For some reason, that red frustrated emoji became the turning point of our simple relationship. We started joking with each other in the team's chat and direct messages. We still weren't talking as much as we do now, but that was the start. Our teasing became a thing in our team. Our teammates would laugh at us and tease us. At one point, someone mentioned that they saw us getting together. We both brushed it off, but it made me think. Slowly, we started talking outside of office hours. He was usually the first to send a message. There were moments I would reply very late, but he was constantly there. 11 months after we connected on a platform to talk outside work, I confessed to him through text that I like him. We've been working together for more than a year by then. However, we haven't seen each other in real life. Silly is it? I like him. I couldn't deny that any longer. He told me he didn't like me. Not right away. I didn't believe him at first because it felt like he was messing with me. Then, eventually, I accepted it. If he likes me back, he would have told me straight up, right? 3 months have passed since then. We're still talking every day. He doesn't work on the same job anymore for a few months now. Part of me was scared we wouldn't talk when he left. Yet, we continued. Then, I picked up the game he adores a lot. It became a new common interest for us. He'd take me to raids and dungeon, teach me ways. Whenever I play with him, my heart won't stop beating hard. I get nervous because I want him to be proud of me. Yet, I always make same mistakes. He's patient, and when he isn't anymore, which is understandable, he'll still talk to me softly. Never raised his voice at me, and I like him even more. We bond over same TV shows and our love for dogs and cats. Whenever he sends me links, it brightens my day. I am grateful to have met him, and for that angry emoji. I cannot say I know him very well. There are things left to know about him, and I wish I will get to. Today, I badly wanted to tell him, I like you. I hope he'd feel the warmth in my heart. I care about him. If he finds someone who'd warm his heart and reciprocates it, I will support him. It will hurt, don't get me wrong, but his happiness weighs more. I'll always treasure our friendship. Happy New Year, Spark, to her name. I really hope she doesn't connect the dots on this one. I'm really nervous. I've never admitted this before. Just a letter to a person in my life. Hey, I've known you for 8 years. We're 4 years apart. I really can't tell if you're the love of my life or the best thing that's happened to me, or both. From you in 8th and myself in 5th, you as a senior and myself as a freshman. You've been the one constant thing in my life. The one person that hasn't left me. You've always been the kindest person. When you walk in the room, it lights up. Every time I see you, it's like the weight of the world is off my shoulders. I don't get butterflies in my stomach when I'm with you. I'm perfectly at ease. You complete my world. When I told you that I loved you jokingly, I meant it. Deep down, I truly meant it. I love your blue eyes. I could get lost in them for days. Do you remember when we were driving late that one night? It was after a game. We were both exhausted. We were just talking about ice cream and the most random stuff. That was the most relaxed I've ever been. Just being with you makes me feel better. When we worked for hours moving decorations inside, moving them across campus in the rain, that was the best day ever. I was with you. When we watched that movie and I said goodbye, I walked outside and looked up at the moon. It was so beautiful that night. It reminded me of you. I love the way you are in the morning at practice. No bullshit, no drama. Just a bunch of tired people at 5 a.m. I'm so glad to have had you in my life. There's a song by Phoebe Bridgers called Savior Complex and Halloween. It kinda reminds me of you. The gentle tune. But it also reminds me of what my life is gonna be like after you leave. It's gonna be hard for me to go on with my life without you. Usually, when people leave, they forget everyone that they left behind. Please don't forget about me. I'm sorry that I fell in love with you. I'm sorry for you and for myself. I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to be sad anymore. I don't want winter to come. I want to be happy. I can't handle losing another person this year. I don't want to watch as my life passes by. I want to control my life. I don't want to be depressed again. I just got out. You make me the best version of myself. I walk down a crooked cobblestone street. I walk down as my head spins and my thoughts trickle throughout my mind like the pages of a phone book. When I see you, it's one path. Just one thing that's constant and reliable. You. Every time I think about you leaving, I have to stop myself. I'm gonna miss you so much, so much. I love you, and I know you will never love me back. But I'll never stop loving you. So, I'll admire you from a distance. No one can really appreciate space focused on one point. I'll gaze from a distance and hope that one day I'll see you again. Learning my own mistakes from previous relationship. I'm here to vent my confession that has been hanging behind my back for a while after I broke up with my ex-partner of 8 months last year. I'm not asking for advices or pity, I just want to get it off my chest. I am 37, taught a girl F30, whom I'll call Hannah, through online class during COVID lockdown 3 years ago, and then when COVID lockdown was lifted, the class was allowed to have face-to-face 2 years ago, so on the first night of meeting Hannah, I was taken back by her vibe like calm affect, sweet shyness, and extremely curious even though she doesn't show it, but I saw that through her eyes and was wondered who she is. During the 6 months course, Hannah and I met from time to time through small events and mutual friends. One time she sent me a message via Messenger to let me know she caught COVID so that I was aware of it, and so did the class too. Then a month later, I was also caught COVID during socializing with mutual friends and Hannah. While I was sick with COVID, we sent each other messages getting to know each other and other stuff we liked. I made clear that anything subjects related to class has to be sent through work email, and anything personal through Messenger. She understood that and respected it. When the class was over after 6 months, I decided to ask Hannah out for a date first time, and we got to know furthermore. I made sure I filled out conflict of interest and that I don't want to teach her in class because I was considering to start relationship with her in near future at that time. But when I told my mom about it and that I wanted to take time, she told me I better hold on to it. I remember at one point when I rode motorcycle home from work and I was thinking about her. It made me realize I love her, but the other part of me yelled, "Wait, just take your time." A bit background on why is that I was married before and been together of 9 years. I did felt it was rushed in a sense where ex-wife and I were together for a year, then engaged a year later and married the following year. We were happy the first 3 years plus she was polygamous person, but everything nearly fallen apart in our relationship was the fact another woman liked us both, and then one night the woman told ex-wife that she liked me more. Ex-wife had to ask me a question to which I wasn't paying attention, "Will you leave me?" And I replied, "Possible." But what I didn't know, it had an effect on her, and with everything in my power trying to fix relationship. It took me another 3 years to repair and allowed her to date other women until she met a woman whom she fell in love. I noticed the change in our relationship, and at one point I asked ex-wife if she really in love with her. Her response was that it was just different kind of love and needs. Plus, not only that, I had good job at college, ex-wife often went to parties, spent money on Airbnbs and goes traveling to QLD and Vic. Ex-wife was very much party girl. One day, when I noticed the decline of our joint account amount, and I suggested to ex-wife to reduce spending on fast food, parties, and other unnecessary things, the first thing she said to me was, "Don't worry, we have security in future." And this had me puzzled, so I inquired further. She replied, "Your mum's house." I was total shocked to hear that because my mum's home is in expensive area close to beach. I knew this wasn't going to work it out. Not just my mum's house, but there's more other things that had impacted me, mostly to which later I wish I didn't bring it into Hannah's and mine relationship. My real mistakes were that I should have told Hannah right from the start we should take things slowly, but I just let my excitement overtake it. That I should have expressed my concerns over equality between deaf and hearing. Yes, I'm deaf myself also from the start, but I didn't because in my head Hannah isn't like my ex-wife, and yet trying to fight the memory of controlling. I realize as I write this now, if I told Hannah about it, it could have solved the issue by compromising it together, and that Hannah could assure me she sees me as equality. And third mistake was that I wished I shouldn't have said things to Hannah, for hurting her feelings and breaking up with her 3 times, all because I was really doubting with myself, thinking negatively of myself, and I do know I missed out on nice things she did for me. After third breakup, I basically just shut down. Even though I do hang out with friends, I just don't express enough and didn't reply to Hannah much when she sent me messages. We had our first conflict few months after our breakup, and stupidly I made decision to space. I know this has hurt Hannah so much. After a few months of no contact, I went back and wanted to apologize to her, and she told me she wasn't ready to talk to me. I respected that and stayed back. Then few weeks later, she sent me a message saying she's ready to talk. We had a chat where I sat opposite her and saw that she was venting with how much I hurt her feelings and made her feel worthless. Then I saw her face and realized it was the exact same feeling I had at my ex-wife who didn't appreciate for who I am and my journey. I truly do wished I could have taken everything back to restart again and do better for Hannah. And fast forwarding, now she only replies when I send her messages, and she won't send me messages herself, which I understood why. I asked her at one point if she was seeing anyone, and she told me yes casually with one mutual person whom she had previous relationship before me. I accepted. I was defeated because I hoped I'd repair things and have her trust me again, but this time I can see it's gone. She clearly said she can't see future with us together. I told her I would apologize 1,000 of times. But I know I can't beg her because I'm not the type to beg, and I don't like to beg anyone because it's gross. And on top of that, I only found out recently through a friend that Hannah told the friend she wants me to stop messaging her, so I backed off, and I haven't confirmed with Hannah whether if this is true or not. We do see each other from time to time in small events and through mutual friends. Plus, she's now in relationship with the same guy from her previous relationship. so I just stay behind the line and respect the boundaries. It was hard for me to see that, knowing that I thought I had controlled my trauma experiences from previous relationship, but it turns out it is not exactly what I thought, and I know I do need counseling for this one. I was already seeing relationship therapists, so that helped me immensely. Anyway, I just do wish her all the best in the future with her partner, and I hope he treats her better than I did. She got away. I was 43 when I went back to college, just out of a wicked divorce, and I had been out of the dating pool for 17 years. I had no idea how to meet women. I had tried the online thing for a bit, and it never turned out well. I kept meeting single mothers who seemed to want to get married right away. I just wasn't ready for it. In my geology class, there was a pretty blonde woman. I had caught her looking at me, and it took me by surprise. Probably because I had been checking her out as well. As luck would have it, there was some kind of gathering at a bowling alley that weekend, and I decided to go on the off chance she would be there. Sure enough, she was there, and she came right over and introduced herself to me. She was not the kind of girl to wait around. We talked for a bit, and before I left, she gave me her number. Our first date was fantastic. I found out that she was 23, divorced, and had one child. I offered, and she agreed to come home with me that night. Up until that time, I had never had a woman cry when having sex. I found out it was a good thing, at least in this case. The sex with her was fantastic, and we just got better with time. We dated for almost a year before I took a job in a town several hours away. She wanted to come with me, but I told her I just didn't think it was a good idea for her to move her entire life because of me. I would come back to town every few months, and we always hooked up. The sex was fantastic, and I had to admit I had feelings for her. One day while I was in town, she asked me if I would marry her. I was really taken back by it and a little scared. I was still not ready for that level of commitment. I told her I thought our age difference would be a huge issue. Not in the immediate future, but when I got old and broken down, she would still be young and vibrant. I said it would not be fair to tie her down to taking care of me. I felt there were better prospects out there for her. As time went on, our situation continued. I deployed overseas, and every time I came to town, I made sure to visit her. I loved spending time with her, and we really did get along well. On one of those times, she popped the question again. I still wasn't ready. She seemed to accept it okay and continued to have sex with me every time I came to town. She even commented that we had had a lot more sex together than anyone she had been with. I had completed my contract and moved to a different city from her. We continued to hook up every time I was in town. By this time, I was pretty sure I wanted to marry her. Before I could ask her, she sent me a message that she had met someone. Our relationship had lasted over 6 years. I was honestly happy for her and wished her nothing but happiness. I found someone and got married as well. Now, 15 years later, I still think about her almost every day. It is just eating at me all of the time. I've tried emailing her, but she never responds, so I gave up. I love my wife, and she treats me very well. I also love this other woman who I cannot have. I'm afraid that on my deathbed, I will blurt out her name. I realize that I'm the one who pushed her away. There is a lesson here somewhere. Thanks for reading. I just wanted to get this off of my chest. Happy birthday, Ahol. Let me preface this by saying that the names in this are all online personas and not real names. I am not creating this to harass this man, but to vent though my frustrations and hardships that I had to endure due to the fact that someone that knew I have anxiety, depression, and imposter syndrome and clinically diagnosed BPD was emotionally manipulating me for several months. He told me that he was the only one that cared, and that my other friends didn't actually like me because they couldn't know what that feels like, or that it's all a ploy to get something out of me. It's not the most coherent setup of the story and what is written, but I did my best. On a throwaway just because I don't want him potentially knowing about my main. Also, this takes place on the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV. Picture it. I'm hanging with friends enjoying my life without you in it, and my phone calendar alert goes off. What the heck could this be for? A Sue flashes across my screen, and I feel physically ill. I thought your birthday was on the 28th, but maybe I'm wrong and I saved it to remember. Either way, it's been another year. Another year of your bullshit lies, healing from your abuse, and hearing about your life. I haven't spoken to you since last October, where you mad rambled in all caps on my Twitch because I had you blocked every other way. All I really want to say is I fucking hate you. I hate everything about you, and I hate myself more because some tiny speck of my soul still cares and always will. I want to destroy that part of me. I've thought about forgiving old friends, but I know they know you, so I won't. It was all the aftermath of everything you did that really fucked me up. It was bad enough you spam me on Twitch when I block you, but then you accuse me of stalking and harassing you only to run to the one person willing to stay by my side and help me pick up the pieces. You acted like you were tattling on me when you were only ever out to make Ninja mad at me. Well, joke's on you because I am always honest with him. You act like I'm still obsessed with you while you bash me on a Discord server I'm not even in with over 100 plus people. It's funny how they tracked me down for my side. All the receipts I provided of your bullshit. They were thrilled for an excuse to kick you, but sad they couldn't save Chio. They could see your abusive pattern with her. I'm surprised she's not sick of your shit, but I'm sure she's a good little submissive girl that hangs off your every word and fears every day she'll do something new to upset you. You're garbage. Human fucking garbage, and I'm so mad I wasted several months of my life listening to your abusive ass. I found out you lied. A lot. About the death of your great niece. Well, not so much lied, but more like told me it happened in 2022 when it was really 2017. You just needed that pity and sympathy, huh? Even the pictures you sent me. Was it you that drew it or Jeremy? Not that any of that fucking matters. The worst lie is you told me you loved me. Fucking disgusting. Not that it should shock me coming from someone that so easily leaks other girls' nudes. Yeah, I heard about that too. I will admit the highlight of my year is hearing you dissolved your friend FC to join another for all of 2 days before leaving that too. Was it they found out who you really are that fast, or were you just using them too? I'm pretty sure all the friends in your own FC are puking at the just the two of us FC you made. That didn't last long either, huh? Did Chio get sick of your shit too, and need other people around to talk to when you're not down her throat about how she can't even look at another dude? Well, the part of me that still gives a fuck wanted to say happy birthday, so here's your surprise. I'm publishing all the letters I wrote when I was overcoming my emotions. Just know I am happy without you. I cringe when I think about you or talk about you. I regret every second of attention I gave you, and from the bottom of my heart. Take a long drop with a sudden stop, you bastard. My heart is breaking, but I know I must be strong. I can no longer go through this life torturing myself and those I care so deeply for. I can no longer ignore my own needs just because I feel sorry for myself and miss what is broken beyond repair. I need to stand up for myself and move beyond this heartache I carry. I know I will forever carry that scar on my heart and will miss what I had for the rest of my days, but I also know when something is over it needs to be ended completely. I need to step away with a clear and concise terms rather than wishing that everything will become magically fixed if I take part in my obsessive behavior. I loved him deeply. I loved so much that I became scared of losing him, which ultimately became a self-fulfilling prophecy. I know that I will cherish the time I had with him, and if I could do it all over again, there is so much that I would do differently, but wishful thinking is nothing worth wasting the mental effort on. Before I met him I was fine, and now after he has touched my life I will be fine again. I will always miss him, but I need to get over it and let all the feelings and emotions go for my own well-being. I really do hope nothing but the best for him, even if part of me wishes he'd eat a bag of dicks. Dear Ashura F you. I mean it truly when I say that. I've had a lot of time to think things over, even with being harassed like all I care about it, your dumb ass that hurt me, abused me, tormented me, and then tossed me aside when I called you out on your bullshit, and you didn't like that. I realized over the past few weeks that you want someone that blindly worships you and believes that you can do no wrong, and that truly is Chio for you. She will pat your head and tell you that you're a good boy, and it was all my fault for pointing out her obsession. For being worried you allowed that closeness when you were supposed to be with me. For telling you I don't believe your bullshit when she clearly followed you to Diablos, giving up her FC, marriage, and friends for you. You wanted someone to worship you, and I am not that kind of girl. I realized today that you are the type of guy that when you feel your control slipping you shove people away and say things that you would never allow being said to you, though as I recall Chio did say, you were exactly like Harmony and her ex. I actually have to agree with her on that. You knew how vulnerable I was, and yet still did the one thing that you knew would push me over the edge again before completely ignoring me because you had someone new and shiny to tell you how great you are. I truly hope you make each other miserable because you deserve each other. I hate the fact that some small piece of me will always care about you, But I hate the fact more that you go running to my boyfriend when your bad choices in life result in things you don't enjoy. Grow the fuck up, you are an adult. Find a job and move out of your mother's house. You play video games all day and don't contribute anything to anyone. I don't know what I ever saw in you, and what's worse is, I don't know why I bothered trying to help you better yourself. I think it was more the fact that I'm self-destructive, and you were perfect for me to latch on to thinking you were what I deserved. I was so very, very wrong. I always deserved better. I hope I never see your ugly face ever again, because anytime I think of you, I now spiral into a panic attack. You are the worst kind of person. You're the type to tell a schizophrenic that the voices are right when they don't listen to you. The type to tell someone with a broken leg to walk it off because they told you they'd go out and get you something you want. You are selfish, childish, and broken, and the biggest mistake of my life was thinking I loved you more than Ninja. You are a moldy sandwich compared to a 3-course meal prepared by Gordon Ramsay. I wish that I could say I wish no harm upon you, but the truth is I hope you get everything you fucking deserve because you deserve nothing. You lied to me, manipulated my feelings, and now that everything is said and done, I can see your actions for who you truly are, and you are a piece of shit. Ninja was the right choice from the start, but you wormed your way into my mind, guilted me, and made me second-guess everything. You were the one I confided in when I should have seen your ulterior motives. Even after what everyone had told me about you, I defended you. I thought they didn't know who you truly were, but I can see now they knew you better than you even know yourself. Everyone you think is your friend talks so much shit behind your back that it's sickening, but honestly, I can see now why they do it. You are the worst of the worst. I want you out of my life for good. Take your bottom of the barrel wifu and fuck off into that sunset and leave me to enjoy the bliss and happiness I share with someone that truly gives a shit about me in actions and not just flowered words. You're a fuckboy, and I hope one day soon you realize you're a piece of shit and wise up, but from now until the end of time I am out of your life, and you will never find anyone as caring and compassionate as me. You used my heart and spit it out when you were done saying it was the best you ever tasted, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Oh, the irony. You go and talk your shit about me in a group chat, you think everyone will just blindly agree with you, and they reach out to me. See all my receipts and become worried for your new girl and how controlling you are. Your brothers even see what a snake in the grass you are. After your rambling bullshit message on Twitch, I thought you'd sent more cronies to harass me, but instead it's a truth seeker, and I have a lot of truth on you. I find it hilarious, so go ahead and keep talking about me. Put my name out there because I will never stop showing everyone just what kind of piece of shit you are. It's hilarious how after you got kicked from that Discord, they pulled me into the sister server and were talking all about how weird and possessive you are. How they're worried about your new girl Chio. I got to explain how I'm not as sympathetic to her as I could be. And then what do? Go hide with your tail between your legs and change your names. Yeah, Blacklist updates the name changes, idiot. I can't wait until everyone on your new server starts hating you too. I give it 6 months. That's the amount of time you seem to be able to hide your true nature. Bonus for Chio, who's probably fuming right now. This is from before Isu, and I even got together. This is a letter I wrote you that he probably never gave you. Yeah, I had to go though him and get his permission on what I could say to other people like you. He's possessive and it's abusive. Chio, I get that I may not hear both sides of the story, but at the same time Isu is my friend, one of my best fucking friends, and of course we're going to be close. Of course he's going to confide in me, and hearing all this shit and how much stress you're putting him under when you two aren't even dating is really starting to piss me off. I get that you caught feelings for him, and no one can really blame you. Isu is 3 people I trust completely with my life, secrets, and heart. It's hard not to fall for him, as you can tell from girls willing to throw themselves at his feet, but Isu is a good guy and more selective about who he actually lets in than you realize. I have heard that you're getting jealous of the fact that Isu is overly friendly, without realizing that if he hadn't been friendly, he wouldn't have started talking to you or even me. He'd have isolated and not been the type to hang out in Limsa. He'd probably spend all day at his house and never meet new people. That is something I'd ever want, since he's good at brightening everyone else up around him and will actively reach out to those he sees alone to include those that may be struggling that everyone else will overlook. Isu struggles a lot with troubles from his past and how badly he's been hurt before. I know he told you a bit about what Desu did to him and how she would deflect and try to turn the issue around into something that would come back onto him, effectively gaslighting him when he wanted open and honest communication. Well, I was peeved to hear that you've basically done the same thing. Asu is very empathetic and can tell when you're upset, though you make it pretty obvious. He still goes to check on you and ensure you're alright, and instead of saying what's really on your mind, you deflect and try to tell him all these other issues and compare him to your ex, which honestly, and then get mad when he seems triggered by it all. From my perspective, you're not seeing anything from his point of view. You're saying things he does and has done long before he met you seems to be an issue, like using tells more often than say or party. Like, what? Honestly, in the 5 months I've known him, I can count the times he's accidentally whispered me on one hand, and it's never been anything bad, even out of context. Unlike me, who constantly uses R and taunts friends. He's seen some bad whispers from me. I'm pretty sure even if he did use say or party for everything, nothing would change, but it's his choice on how he communicates with others. What honestly blows my mind is if you two were dating, or even considering dating, that maybe you would have a leg to stand on with these arguments. A very shaky and unstable leg, but at least it's something. But as it stands right now, he's told you he's not looking to date, not just you but anyone. A girlfriend would have the right to bring up things that could look like flirtatious behavior, but since you don't have that title, you need to chill. At this point, you're doing more damage to the already shaky friendship you two hold, and if you truly have feelings for him, you'll take this chance to do some self-reflecting before coming back and behaving like an adult. No more getting mad at emotes he sends or receives, and no more tantrums where you storm off. If you're feeling something like jealousy, even unfounded, all you have to do is bring it up, and Asuya is so nice he'd probably do his best to make you feel comfortable, though I can't say for sure. Since we're so close, I have him on a pedestal, and no girl, cat, dragon, centaur, or alien will ever be good enough for him. He deserves someone that puts him as number one, but can also accept him for who and how he is. I've told him as much before. I hope this letter didn't upset you too much. I wanted to have a conversation with you about all this for a while, but Asu keeps telling me to drop it. Anyways, if you have any questions or even want a discussion, then just let me know. Nika. My god, I was brainwashed. Rereading all of this, I feel like I need a shower. He was giving me bits and bytes of a story. He spun the narrative to then convince me he's the victim when he never was. Hindsight is 2020, but still makes me feel gross. TLDR, confused Redditor. I, as a sought-after gamer girl in a video game, met an asshole, became friends with said asshole, was gaslit and lied to constantly. Convinced to break up with my in-game husband because what he feels isn't real. When I tell the asshole I need time to collect my thoughts, I'm pressure into situations I'm not comfortable with before being dropped for another girl when I made my feelings known. But he's just friends with her. He leaves her to get back with me, but then I find out he's also fucking with another girl on the side the whole time. She comes to me, and we compare dirty notes. I no longer want to be with him. He plays the pity party for several weeks while going to known ERP servers. Tells me that the girl he dumped for me, that he swore up and down he had no feelings for, never did never, will just happen to transfer to a new server with him. They get married. I block them both. He continues to harass me while he and chick change their names, so no one knows all the shitty things he did in the past. And I'm sure after this, when he finds out, there will be some sort of backlash where he tries to throw me under the bus because his ego is bruised. But I'm not scared. As I said before, I find it hilarious, so go ahead and keep talking about me. Put my name out there because I will never stop showing everyone just what kind of piece of shit you are. I don't mind playing the villain in your story because you're the clown in mine. If you have taken the time to read all this, I want to say thank you. I know it's long and I appreciate it. I wrote it to empower myself more than anything. Again, no harassment, but I appreciate shared stories about finding out when someone you trusted never deserved that trust. I also want to thank Ninja and John for always being by my side and helping me recover from this mess. I love you both.